Good afternoon, grade 5, and welcome to English lesson. You guys know that we are heading towards the end of the semester, right? And you have a semester test coming up. So, I have given you some clues on what to expect in the test. So, let's have a look at the first topics. We have habitat in the test. Well, these are things that you can expect in the test. So, you need to know these things, okay? It's a habitat. You will have past tense, a comprehension test, social media activities, question words, and more vocabulary. Okay guys, I am going through each one of them in this video so we can see that you are all familiar with these things in order to study for the test. Okay, boys and girls, let's have a look at the first topic that you can expect in the test. It's all about habitat. The word habitat. What is a habitat? A habitat is the environment or our surroundings of where an animal lives. A habitat is something where you can live and where you can have food, okay? For example, the habitat of the ocean is made for sea life, okay? The habitat for a forest is made for the rainforest animals, okay? But we are going to look at different types of habitats. For example, on the farm, that can be a habitat on the farm. So think about when we have a habitat that's on the farm, okay? On the farm. So what animals can you think of that lives on a farm? Remember guys, the animals that live on the farm, the actual farm is their habitat. That's where they live, that's where they get food, okay? So what animals can you think of living on a farm? It's very, very simple. We have like a cow. A cow. What else can you think of? We have chickens. What else do we have? We have sheep. What else do we have? We have donkeys. And so you can name many more. So the farm is a habitat, and the animals living on the farm, okay, that is their habitat on the farm. What do we have? What other habitats do we have? Can you think of any other habitats we have? We have the forest. The forest. So what kind of animals live in the forest? We have a deer. A deer is like an antelope, okay, a deer. We have a hare. A hare. A hare is like a big rabbit. A big rabbit. Another one, we can have a fox. Can also be on a farm. A fox. The next one, very good one, is an owl. An owl. An owl can also be found in the forest. What about a bear? You can also have a bear in the forest. Bears like to be in the forest because they are close to rivers, and bears like to hunt for fish to eat. The fox eats the hare, okay, because that's why the fox likes to be in the forest, because they can hunt for a hare. Let's have a look at in the desert. desert. What kind of animals do we find in the desert? In the desert, where can we find a desert? I can know of many places where you can find a desert. For example, in Egypt we have a desert. In northern Africa, the Sahara Desert, and also in Africa we have the Namib Desert in Namibia. So the deserts we can find, we have, I'm going to write on the board, we have a desert in Egypt, where all the pyramids are. We also have the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert. And we also have the Namib Desert. Right? The Namib. And the Namib. So we have the desert in Egypt, we have the Sahara Desert, and we have the Namib Desert. Can you think of any other deserts around the world? Please please look it up. So if you want to look more about this desert, just go quickly on Google, and then you can Google the Namib Desert, the Egypt, and the Sahara Desert. Those deserts are in the northern part of Africa. So let's have a look what kind of animals can we find in the desert. We have a camel. Camels, because camels can go for days without water. You know those humps on the camel? They store their water and a lot of fat in those humps in order to survive without food and without water for long periods of time. And also another fact about the camel, they have very long eyelashes. For the girls who like long eyelashes, that normally go into the beauty spot to do your eyelashes. Eyelashes for a camel is very, very long, and that protects their eyes from a sandstorm. So we have camels. Also snakes. We have lots of snakes in the desert because snakes are reptiles and they are cold-blooded, so they like the warmth. We also have scorpions in the desert. Scorpions in the desert. Okay, that's just a few animals you can find in these find these animals in the desert, the forest, or the farm. So the desert is their habitat, the forest is their habitat, and the farm is their habitat. But what other habitats can you think of? Let's have a look. Let's continue. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. In the sea or the ocean, in the sea, okay, let's do this way. In the sea, the next one would be in the mountains. Can also be in the mountains. Can also be a habitat for animals because they are suitable to live in the mountains, and also in the savanna. Okay, let's have a look at these three. In the sea, the mountains, and the savanna. The savanna is like grasslands, okay? It's like big open plains with no mountains, no forests. There are some trees, but it's mostly grasslands, okay? So let's have a look at which animals live in the sea. So we have a dolphin. Dolphins live in the sea, so the ocean is their habitat because in order for a dolphin to survive and to eat, they need to swim. They don't have legs and arms like us that can walk on land. We also have whales. Whales. But my question is, when dolphins and whales, how do they get babies? Do they lay eggs or do they give live birth to their babies? Yes, dolphins and whales are mammals, okay? And they give live birth. They don't have eggs like other fish and reptiles. They are part of mammals and they give live birth and they produce milk for their babies. What else do we have? We also have sharks in the ocean. Sharks. What about a lobster? Lobster is also in the sea. So the habitat for this sea life is the sea. Let's have a look in the mountains. Mountains. What do we have in the mountains? We have an eagle. Eagle. Okay? Eagle. We have a deer as well. So a deer can either be in the jungle or the forest, and it can be in the mountains. What about the moose? A moose is similar part of the deer family. A moose. And what about a mountain goat? Mountain goat. Now let's have a look at the savannah. Where do we normally find a savannah? The savannah you will find mostly in Africa. Okay? So what do we find? What kind of animals can we find in the savannah? Savannah would be like the zebra. The zebra, because there are a lot of grass and vegetation for the zebras to eat. What about the lions? The lions, because the lions have space to run to catch the zebra. The buffalo. We have the buffalo. What about the cheetah? And lastly, we can have the elephant. Elephant. Okay, guys. So this is the types of habitat. There are more habitats. For example, Alaska can be in a very cold places like the penguins are in Antarctica or the Arctic, Antarctica or the Arctic at the North Pole, because there are the penguins, the whales, the polar bears, the seals, and the Arctic fox. They are used to the cold weather, okay, because they have very thick fur. Because think about it, if a polar bear or a seal or a penguin should live in the savannah where it's very, very hot, they will not survive because they have a lot of fat, a lot of blubber to keep them warm in a very cold place. And that's why they are suitable to live in a very cold habitat, because they have very thick fur to keep them warm and a lot of fat to keep them warm in a cold place. These animals won't survive in the sea. These animals won't survive in the savannah because they are accustomed to their habitat, okay? Like humans, we will not survive in the sea because we cannot breathe underwater. We will not survive in the savannah because it's too hot for us, and how will we get food? We are accustomed to city life or village life or town life, and that's our habitat. So we are accustomed to our environment, okay? For example, these animals won't survive in the mountains because they should be in water, because they don't have legs and arms like us to walk, and they don't have fins to swim. You see what I mean? So you are accustomed to your environment, okay? So this is all about habitat, but there are more habitats. So for example, let's have a look, what else do we have? And we also have the, okay, yes, that's, for example, in the sea, in the forest, the desert, even the desert, you see? So there are many, many types of habitats. Okay guys, I'm going to stop the video and then we will continue with past tense. Okay guys, so let's have a look at the next topic, past simple tense. I have written some words on the board for you. You all did actually very well in the test with the past tense the previous test. But let's just go through them again, because I saw some of you made some mistakes with these ones. There are some past verbs that changes the way the word totally changes to another word. For example, go. What is go? Go is went. So a simple past is went. So go changes to went. Tell also changes. Also tell, when I'm telling a story, I tell you what to do. But yesterday I told you. You see, the entire word changes to another word. Next one is laugh. Like something is very funny, so you laugh. Okay, and that changes. Does this word change? No, it does not. It's just getting an ed, like laugh. Drink. Today we drink, but yesterday we drank. So the entire word change again. Drank. But let's have a look at this one. Fancy. Whenever a word changes with a Y at the end, the Y falls away and it gets an IED, so it would be fancied. Fancied. Okay. So let's I'm going to erase this and then we're going to do a couple of more. Let's have a look at draw. Get. Reply. Drive. And forget. Forget. For example, draw, but yesterday I drew. So the word changes a little bit. The word doesn't change a lot. The only thing that changes is the A changes to an E. It says D-R-E-W. Get also doesn't change much. But the only thing that changes is the E, so it changes from get to got. The next one is reply. Remember what I said? When a verb changes with a Y, it changes to what? Yes, it changes to IED, so it will become replied. Remember, guys, be careful when you're writing the verb to past tense. The Y changes to IED. Drive changes to drove, and it's only the I that changes to an O. So today we drive, yesterday we drove. And what about this one? Get. So forget is forgot. Forgot. Okay. Do you see, guys, the difference? There are some changes in the words, but not totally. For example, draw, drew. Get, got. Reply, replied. Drive, drove. Forget, forgot. Okay. So let's have a look at a couple more past tense. Suggest. Okay? Suggest. Order. Visit. Make. And we have, let's see what else, agree. Okay, let's have a look. First rule is whenever a word changes with the E, okay? Whenever a word changes, whenever a word finishes with an E at the end, you just add a D. For example, agree, ends with an E, so then you just add a D to it, so it will become agreed. The words change, the word stays the same, but you just add a D at the end. But let's have a look at suggest. Whenever a word changes with a consonant, you add an ED, so it will become suggested. Okay? The same with this one. You just add an ED, so it becomes ordered. Ordered. Visit becomes visited. Today we visit, but yesterday we visited. The next one, this word changes a bit. You cannot say made, no, it changed. The K becomes a D, so we say made. Made. Okay. You see the difference, guys? I will repeat myself again. Whenever a word like this changes on an E, you just add a D at the end. Whenever a word changes with a T or a R or a consonant, you added the ED. Okay, guys? I hope you understand. But if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message, or I will see you in Zoom this afternoon. Okay, guys? So this is for the past tense. This is stuff you can expect in the test. Okay? So I'm going to pause the video and then we'll continue with the next one.